Hey everyone, this last week we went to Instagram to just ask kind of open range, what questions would you have for us about this lifestyle that we're living? Wanted to just come here and answer a few of these.
I'm Kelly and this is Riley. 2020 was a wild year, but it was the year that gave us the ability to work remote. Because of that, we decided to sell everything, pack our bags, and hit the road. We'd love for you to join us as we go there and back again.
First one, and we'll have Kelly answer this one. What was the hardest part about selling everything?
Definitely for me, it was things being sentimental. I definitely want to try not to hold on to things.
That wasn't hard for me. I loved it. I absolutely loved getting rid of everything.
I did too. I like challenging myself and doing things that I know are good for me, and even if they're outside of my comfort zone. But things get sentimental to me really fast, and so that was pretty hard. I'd also say just the timing of selling everything, because it was like we knew that we could sell like our dining room set and stools and things like that, but we wanted to hold on to like our bed and our couch and desks until the last minute. And
that's a good answer.
Yeah.
It was the last week we didn't have a couch, and so you just kind of sit on the floor. We
had to borrow an air mattress for the last week and then give that back to the person we were borrowing it from before we left, like the day we left. So it was just kind of crazy.
How was the drive?
You answer. You start.
I loved it. I dreaded it, honestly, for months. Ever since we said we were gonna go, this debate in my head started on, am I gonna drive or fly out? And I thought about sending Kelly out driving and me flying. Obviously, we both ended up driving together, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It ended up...
It flew by.
Drove by.
It went by.
We listened to Ready Player One, which was extremely captivating and
extremely long. So it took up a majority of our drive.
We listened to Ready Player One and Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey, and honestly just made the drive go by so fast. Every night we'd get into the hotel, and honestly I just kept thinking to myself, I want to hear what happens next in Ready Player One. It's extremely different from the movie, which I didn't expect.
Yeah, but it made us look forward to the next day of driving because we were excited to see what happened in our book. So I mean, that's a great traveling tip that I'm sure everyone knows of, is if you have a good podcast or audiobook, then you're all set. I liked seeing the terrain change, because for a long time we were in in Utah we have mountains all around, and then we got into desert, kind of flat land, and then when we were in Louisiana, there was trees and forests everywhere, and then obviously when we got into Florida it was a little more tropical and we got to see the ocean, and so I liked seeing the changes we were driving along. So
hardest part of living out of a car
/ suitcase. But I think what's difficult is just when you have your own place to live and you're settled down, you have everything that you need, and if you don't have it, you just go get it and then you have it. But here what we noticed was that we bought a candle to make the place smell good, and it was oh, we don't have a lighter anymore. And so we had to buy a lighter too. But it's just those little things that you have around the house when you have a house. But when you're traveling and you're on the go, those things you don't just have with you all the time. And it's easy to just run by the store and grab them, but that's something that I've learned.
I'm just gonna mix that one in with the next question though. Do you consider yourself a minimalist?
No. I don't consider myself a minimalist. I want to try to be better at this. As I was mentioning in the first question, I'm pretty sentimental. I hold on to things. I do that with clothes too. It's hard for me to get rid of clothes, and I have to I have to make sure that I go through my clothes and I say okay, what have I not worn in the past 6 months, things like that. So I am not, and I know that. I would like to be, and I think that this lifestyle that we've begun has helped me in that aspect, and I'm realizing just how little I can live off of, and how much I don't actually need. And already I have things that I haven't worn here in Florida yet, and I know that I could probably just get rid of that. So what about you?
So it's kind of complicated in the sense of I love not having things, but also it was easier to pack because the weather of where we're going. In Utah, what?
I was just gonna add on, not only the weather to where we're going here in Florida, we're starting here where it's warm, but then we also travel up the East Coast as it continues to get warmer. So like, I know in New York it's freezing right now, but by the time we get there, it's also gonna be warm. So we literally only needed
warm clothes.
Like summer clothes.
Yeah, if I was in Utah for 4 seasons, I need 4 seasons of clothes, where I'm basically just in summer clothes here. I have like 2 sweaters and
haven't touched them.
Yeah, haven't touched them, left them in my suitcase, and I didn't bring a coat.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Honestly blessed though, huh?
Yeah, we were able to box up all of our winter clothes, which for sure would have taken up a ton of more space, and that would have been hard.
To answer the question though, would I consider myself a minimalist? Not quite, but close.
Striving.
Yeah, I would love to be a minimalist. I see other people though, and I'm like, yeah, they're a true minimalist. I would love to be one though. I feel like I'm pretty good at getting rid of things I don't utilize. My main concept and thought is, have I touched this within the last few months? If not, just let it go. Most of the time I'm pretty good at it, but there's a lot of things that I still do struggle with. The big one for me is college t-shirts. That's always been, that was the hard one for me to.
That's the least, that was like at the bottom of my list of things.
No,
college t-shirt?
I have snow college t-shirts that I am like, oh yeah, I'll keep this forever. And then one day it will be a blanket. And then I have SUU t-shirts, same concept. And then there's other t-shirts that were fairly new that I just never actually utilized. And I was like, hey, yeah, you're gone. You didn't make the cut.
Okay, next question is, have we always loved traveling, or is this new for one of us?
I would say I've always loved traveling. I probably haven't traveled as much as I would love to, but I've always loved traveling.
I would actually agree with that. I feel like growing up, I always liked the idea of traveling, but to be honest, I never really did much traveling. We mostly did like camping trips growing up. It just, to me, never felt realistic. I saw a lot of people traveling and I was just like, how do they afford that? The flights, the hotels, everything like that. And so like, yeah, I love the idea of it, and I know that I would love to travel way more than I have.
I guess then we'd both say we love to travel, we just haven't always had the means to travel.
Or the opportunities to be traveling.
What place excites you the most this year to go to?
I think we have the same answer now.
No, I'm changing my answer because I know your answer.
Okay.
So to go along with the question, what place excites us the most? Let us just walk you through what we're doing this year as well to make sure it's clear. Started off here down in southern Florida. Come mid-April, we're gonna head up to Charleston for a few months. And then in June, we go up to Washington, D.C. And then from D.C. in August, we're going up to New York City, and we'll be there until mid-November. After that, we're homeless as of right now. We don't have a place to go to after that.
We have big ideas of what we could do after that, but yeah, no official booked plans or anything like that. Most
likely we'll be back in Utah for Thanksgiving.
For the holidays.
Yeah, and we'll probably just spend, and then we'll see. I have no idea what will come after that.
I had already been to Florida before, and so I knew I liked it here. I was excited for the weather, not the place that I was most excited for though. I expect that Charleston will surprise me the most because I don't really know much about it. DC, again, I think is gonna surprise me. I have high expectations for it though, because I've heard so many wonderful things about DC and all of the places that you can tour, museums, things like that. So I'm super excited for that. But ever since we booked our Airbnb in New York, that is just the shining star for me. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to go to New York. Even before we booked the Airbnb, that would probably be my answer. I've never been there, but oh, we want to so bad.
Place I'm most excited for, because the winter, if you asked me a month ago before we started, I would have said Miami. And I'm loving it here. I'm honestly always sweating, which in some ways is good, some ways is bad.
Our legs are literally sweating against each other right now.
Yeah, and that's gross. I think I'm most excited for Charleston though. I think I'm very excited for DC. I'm worried that places won't be open, but I think we'll still make a lot out of DC. I think DC is still gonna be super rad even if the Smithsonian's haven't opened.
Fortunately, Riley did an internship in DC, so I have a tour guide that can take me around.
I'm gonna say Charleston though. I think, especially, we're gonna be out in more like James Island area, where it's like a 15-20 minutes drive into downtown Charleston, but then we can also get out to the ocean really fast.
To those Nicholas Spark beaches.
And you know I'm all about those rom-coms. Honestly though, I think Charleston, I've never been to Charleston. I've always heard great things. I've always looked at the pictures and gotten really excited, but I would say I'm most excited for that. And then also New York City. I've only done more passing through trips of New York. I think the longest I stayed there was like a day. And we are in New York. When we're going to New York, we're gonna be near Union Square. And honestly, that makes me super excited to be like, we are in New York. It's not like a side trip. We're gonna be really experiencing that.
So we did get some assumptions, but we really just wanted to focus on one of them in this video.
One assumption that we've had is that we're very well off financially. I think we both do well, but I wouldn't say by any means we're in this like huge tier bracket, by no means. For me being out of college now, what, 4 years? I think I'm in an area that is good, but not great.
Like typical.
Yeah, I would say I'm doing average.
Yeah. I'm a senior in college, so.
Yeah, Kelly still
There's
is
that.
in college, so a lot of our finances also go to her tuition.
Straight to tuition.
It was honestly more just, where do you put your expenses to us? Back home where our condo is, we have our mortgage, we had everything. Readjusting to this, it's really just kind of readjusting where we're putting it. And when you think about the things that we're saving versus the things that we're spending now is very different. For example, we're not paying electricity, we're not paying gas, we're not paying for internet because it's all included now within the Airbnb. And so it is kind of more just a readjustment. I think in the future we could do a video really breaking down the finances of how we've strategically handled this. For the most part, everywhere we're going though, it's basically gonna cost us the same as living in Utah, except for New York. New York is the very
splurging just a little bit.
very different aspect. But we figured if there's ever time, we'll do it now. And we'll do it right.
Yeah,
and we'll do it right, we said. New York is the offsetter experience though, for sure. Mm-hmm. Final question, we wanted to save this one for last.
It's the most important question of them all.
Those of you who know us know that we love Survivor. Survivor, if you're watching,
cast us.
I'm available. So we got asked favorite season of Survivor and favorite Survivor.
Do you want me to go first?
You can't take my favorite Survivor though.
We have the same favorite Survivor, but I'll pick someone else for Riley's purpose.
Okay, go
Riley's
ahead.
sake. Okay, so I'll say one of my favorite Survivors is Kim from one of my favorite seasons, which is Survivor One World. It was a crazy season that started off with a lot of tension because they split them up, boys versus girls, but it was a very entertaining season.
My favorite Survivor, which also goes into my answer, is Ozzy. You can't beat him.
He is the best Survivor.
I would say, yeah, hands down. He enters this debate of who's the GOAT of Survivor, and he's never even won. Like, that's remarkable. He is by far my favorite Survivor. Favorite season that goes along with this, season 23, Redemption Island. Man, you just gotta love that good play. He's so good in it. He's so good. Coach, I'm not bitter, but you should have let him make the fire, but whatever. It is what it is.
Another notable season that actually doesn't even have any of our favorite survivors in it. They're all great survivors, but a notable season is season 20. That's the one that we started with.
That doesn't have any of our favorites. That is the Heroes vs. Villains. That's like the all-star survivor list.
Right, but none of them are the favorites that we just mentioned.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they're all, like I said, they're all great. They're all returning players, returning survivors from other seasons, so they all know what they're doing. But it was such a fun season to start with. So
yeah, if you're watching this and you don't watch Survivor, honestly, let us know. We'll get you into Hulu off of Kelly's student Hulu account, because it is great. Wait, no, season 20 is on Netflix. Best season that will introduce you to Survivor is season 20. Season 20 is on Netflix. Netflix, promo us.
Unless
I'll promote all your videos.
I've read a lot of articles about which seasons are the best of Survivor, and some of them say don't start with season 20 if you're someone that wants to watch the seasons leading up to season 20 so that you know who the players are. But we didn't do that, and it worked out just fine. We love season 20, and it also encouraged us to want to go back and watch the other seasons that they were in, and we were able to, you know, we didn't feel like we were behind on anything, so.
I think we've created a new vlog. We're no longer there and back again. We're
a Survivor.
Survivor.
Yeah, we could talk on and on about Survivor.
It is so good though. Highly, highly recommend it. Let us know who your favorite Survivor is. I know the few people that we've talked to that we get you into it, we'll go on. We'll talk, we'll chat, we'll love it. We'll promote certain people. We'll talk really bad about certain people, and those people who know who they are. They know who they are, Russell. Just joking. Love you, Russell.
Russell's
great, best strategist of all time, Russell. But he's the ultimate villain. And I respect him for that. Yeah.
And wait, are you just gonna go back there?
Oh, you're like closing out. I thought we were done.
And that's it for all the questions and assumptions. Thank you guys so much who submitted those into us. It was fun to read through those and just kind of think about what we're doing here with There and Beck Again. Thank you so much for being here and watching our videos. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe because we'll keep posting more videos.
I wanted to look cute.
And we will see you in our next video.